Hey guys, I read 14 books in February, 8 of them being for my physical TBR, and I am so excited to talk about them. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you're new here. My name is Stephanie, and welcome to my February wrap-up and March TBR. I have my MacBook. Let's just get right into it. Okay, so the first book that I read in February was Depraved Devotion by Morgan Bridges. This was my book club pick for this month. The link to my favorite book club will be down below. And I had such a good time. I rate this 4.5 stars. It is stalker, doctor, patient. He's a serial unaliver who is on trial, gonna go to prison. There is Harley Quinn and Joker vibes. I loved it. The only thing I didn't love, that cliffhanger, diabolical. I cannot wait for book 2. I think it comes out in June or July, and I am literally so excited. If I can get my hands on an arc of it, I will be devouring it. Yeah. And then I went into Warmer Colder by Alexia Onyx. This is a dark sapphic paranormal romance. I had such a good time. There's like obsession and stalker and kind of childhood friends to strangers to enemies to lovers. It was such a roller coaster, but I absolutely loved it. And then I went into one of my absolute favorite books of the month, Bourbon Lies by Victoria Wilder. I loved it so much that I went out and I got the one with sprayed edges. Yeah, I loved this book so much. Obviously, I rated this 5 stars. This was also the first book that I read about someone in like the witness protection program. It was so interesting. I wouldn't classify this as dark romance, but there are dark aspects to it. You have a little bit of grumpy sunshine and a whole lot of found family. I loved this. If there's a book with found family in it, I'm probably going to eat it up because I just love that trope so much. So if you haven't picked this one up, definitely go pick it up because I am so mad that it took me so long to read this. This has been in my TBR, like sitting on my Kindle for so long, and I was like, I'll get to it. And then I finally did, and I need the rest of the series now. I need to read it, like, today. And then I went into another 5-star, another favorite of the month, The Long Game by Rachel Reed. This is 𝖘𝖙𝖈𝖎𝖆𝖑𝖘's second book, so I'm not going to say too much about it, but if you read Heated Rivalry and you liked it, go into 𝖘𝖙𝖈𝖎𝖆𝖑𝖃's second book. It is so good. If you haven't read Heated Rivalry, which I'll be shocked if you haven't, it is an hockey romance. It is so good, and this one somehow was better. I rated them both 5 stars, but this one was somehow better than Heated Rivalry. I think because the relationship was more like intact and like I knew more about them and I already loved them, but I love this so much. We have a visitor. So if you see the camera moving a little bit and you see a little fluff ball popping in and out, I'm sorry, but he's usually attached to my hip, so there's nothing I can do about that. And then I went into Eldrith Manor by Lee Rivers and Avina St. Graves, and I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I definitely liked the last half of the book more than the first half. It is a dark paranormal romance. It is with a demon and a ghost, and it was good. I just definitely liked the last half more than I liked the first half, but I would still recommend it. It was still a good time. I expected a little bit more, and I don't even know why I didn't like it as much as I was hoping for. I just kind of was a little bored, honestly. At least the first half. And then I went into 𝖘𝖔𝖈𝖎𝖆𝖑𝖘 by Ellie Hazelwood. I listened to this and it was honestly really cute. It was super short. I rated it 3.75 stars and I had a good time. It is workplace. There's gaming involved and there's a whole lot of miscommunication, and usually I hate that, but I think because it was so short and it wasn't like overdone, I didn't hate it as much as I normally would. So I still would recommend if you really hate miscommunication. Maybe you won't like it, but I really hate miscommunication and I still had a good time. So do with that information what you will, honestly. Then I went into my physical arc of Killing Sadie by Rachel Peterson, and I had such a good time. This comes out August 4th of this year, and I rated it 4 stars. I'm not going to say too much about it because it is an arc, but also it's a thriller, and I don't really like saying much about thrillers because I don't want to spoil anything, and I like going into my thrillers blind, so that's kind of how I like to talk about them. But I had such a good time. I read this in one sitting physically, and that's saying a lot for me. And then I went into another arc. It is What We Did to Survive by Megan Lally. I rated this one 2.5 stars. I was enjoying it and having a good time until like the 75-80% mark. I did read it on my Kindle. I still read it in one sitting. I would recommend, because not everyone is going to think the same way that I do. So maybe you'll like it, but I just did not have a great time. I also forget when it comes out, but I will have the date somewhere over here for when it comes out because I don't believe it's out yet, but I did read that a couple weeks ago. And then I went into Half His Age by 𝖘𝖈𝖎𝖆 𝖘𝖑. This one is a very difficult one to explain my feelings on because both characters were very unlovable. If you guys don't know what this one is about, this one is 𝖘𝖈𝖎𝖆 𝖘𝖑's debut into fiction, and it is about a teacher and a student. He is 40 years old, she is 17. She turns 18 in the book, but that does not matter. So both of the characters were unlovable, and we can't really fault the FMC for her actions fully because she was being groomed. Even though she did start it, he did not have to continue it, you know? Like, just because she started it and she insinuated things does not mean he had to go for it. I just didn't really find either character fully lovable, and it's not to say that it wasn't a bad book. I loved the writing style. I loved like how it was written, and the chapters were really short. I love that she narrated it. I did listen to this one while I followed along physically, and I don't want to say I had a good time because it is really such a disturbing book. But like I said, I really liked the writing style and the narration, so I did have a good time. It was just a very disturbing read. I ended up rating it 3.5 stars. I would recommend, but definitely check your trigger warnings. But honestly, check your trigger warnings for like any book you're gonna read, but especially this one. It's not dark, but it's just very gross and disturbing, and there are some things that you really just... I sat there and I was like I had to pause the audiobook and I was just like, did that just happen? Okay, it did. Okay. But yeah, Half His Age by 𝖘𝖈𝖎𝖆 𝖘𝖑. And then I went into Ask for Andrea by Noelle W.Eiley. I absolutely loved this. This is about a serial killer. You aren't in his POV. You are in the POV of 3 girls that he has murdered, and they are essentially haunting him. And it is so... I don't want to say fun because it is so sad and it is so just heartbreaking, but I had a really good time watching them haunt the fuck out of this piece of shit. Like, I'm sorry, I had such a good time reading about all of the things that like they were doing just to like piss him off, because they couldn't do much because, well, they're dead. But the things that they could do were some of the most inconveniences ever, and it was just so funny to read about them just like doing this stuff and then just kind of being like happy that they're doing it. I don't know how to explain it, but I really, really loved this. It also says in the beginning that this book is loosely inspired by Ted Bundy's victims, women whose names and lives have generally been overshadowed by the grotesque legend built around their killer. The media has a way of fixating on the men who commit these horrors, lionizing them while reducing their victims to footnotes, and this book is my way of bringing those footnotes back onto the page. So it's just kind of just a tribute to those victims, because yes, they got their justice. Ted Bundy got taken, right? And then died. But when you think about Ted Bundy, you don't think about the victims. You think about all of the people romanticizing him, and it's just so gross. It is just so gross. I'm sorry, but if you can sit there and think about a serial killer, you need to think about the victims, the lives that were taken far, far, far too soon. And yeah, so this was just kind of like a tribute to Ted Bundy's victims, and I really enjoyed that because I really love true crime. I've always loved true crime. I get it from my dad, and I love learning about the victims and where they were from and how they were, because I don't care about... Well, I care about who did it because, like, get them behind bars, but I don't care about their backstory. I don't care about their sob story and how terrible their childhood was. I don't care. A lot of people have terrible childhoods and they don't go out and do those gross things. I want to know about the victim's past. How were they as a child? Like, what did they like to do? What were their hobbies? I want to know about them. I want to uplift them and not these gross human beings who are doing these heinous acts. But loved this. It was so good. The ending really, it got me. It got me. I did shed some tears while reading this book. I went into The Coworker by Frida McFadden. Frida is a very big hit or miss for me. Usually there are more hits than there are misses. I did like this one. I also rated this one 4.5 stars, but I usually love a thriller that's set in like a workplace. I just love thrillers in general, but like if there's a book that has like workplace romance, workplace thriller, I will probably at least enjoy it to some degree, and I did have a good time. The twist was shocking, but there are also twists that I was just like, oh, yeah, duh. I saw that coming. Like, are we stupid? But I've also heard some very, I don't know the word, not controversial, but like, I've heard some takes on Freida McFadden that she either uses AI or she kind of reads other thrillers and then uses kind of that plot but changes it a little bit. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Freida McFadden. I'm still doing some research, but so far I've liked a lot of her books, but if that's because she's stealing the books from other books, I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. But I did have a good time with The Coworker, and I rated it 4.5 stars. And then I went into Broken Beginnings by Cleo Evans. I did listen to most of this, and then I finished up like the last 20% on my Kindle, and I rated this 4 stars. I had a really, really, really good time. This has like second chance. He used to bully her in high school, which I really thought I was gonna hate, but he did what he needed to do, okay? He groveled, and I just ate it up. I really did. There's also like a stalker murder mystery, so this is like a romantic suspense, and I've just been really into like thrillers, anything with suspense lately, so I ate it up. I read it in one day and I absolutely loved it. And then I went into Missing Dead Girls by Sarah Walters. I had a really good time. This is super, super short. I read it in one sitting. I was not expecting some sapphic romance in there. Was not expecting that. That took me so off guard, but I loved it. I did rate this one 3 out of 5 stars. It was extremely predictable, but it is a YA thriller, so like I'm not too shocked, but I just still have a good time, and it was still fun to read, even knowing that like I knew where it was going. Like there was no other way that it could have gone. I knew where it was going, but I still had a good time reading and getting to that point. Like it was still really fun. And then I finished off February with a dark romance reread. It is a novelette. It's 61 pages. It is Burnt Bitter Better by Ava J. This is revenge, has a huge trigger warning for sexual assault. Huge trigger warning for it. It is therapist patient, so it is taboo. I loved it just as much as I did when I read it for the first time. I think I will go back to this anytime I'm having a bad day. Anytime I'm like, I need to pick me up. I need to stop thinking too hard. I will be going back to this book because I love it so much. It is so stinking good. Obviously, like I said, heavy trigger warning for sexual assault. Heavy trigger warning. So if that's something that you can't deal with, do not pick this up, please. But I absolutely loved it. Obviously 5 out of 5 stars. And that was the last book that I read in February. So now we are going to put the MacBook away and we are going to go through my TBR for March. So because I did so good at reading my physical TBR in February, I want to keep that momentum going, especially because I've added so many new books to my physical TBR. So I want to read all books for my physical TBR. I don't have to read them physically. I can read them on my Kindle or I can listen to them, but I want to stick to my physical TBR for March. Obviously, if I have like arcs that I don't have physically, that's fine, but my TBR is all physical books. So I have 12 books over here. Let's go through them. I also decided that the physical books that I've started and haven't finished are all going to go onto this TBR. So some of these I am kind of in the middle of. I just haven't finished them. The first one is In the Veins of the Drowning by 𝖘𝖙 Cassidy. I believe I made it to part 2, which is like 100 pages in, and I just never went back. So I definitely want to go back. I have this on my Kindle, so hopefully I will end up reading this. This is a dark paranormal romance. I think she's a siren. I don't know if there's any other beings in it, but I know that she's a siren. The next one I'm in the middle of is also a paranormal romance. It is The Wolf King. I am on page 125. I was reading this physically, also on my Kindle, also in audiobook form, and I just haven't finished it, but I am so intrigued by it, so I definitely want to go through and actually finish it. I might reread the last few chapters just to remember where I'm at, but I'm super excited. I love a werewolf romance. Speaking of werewolf romances, we have Wolf Gone Wild by Juliet Cross. I honestly don't remember where I left off in here, so I might restart it. I might just try to figure it out, like go on Goodreads, Storygraph, Bookly, and see, but I have no idea yet. All I know is I want to read it. And then we have one that I started within the last couple days. It is Win, Lose, Kill, Die by Cynthia Murphy. I am further than this in it. I just don't remember where I left off last night. And this could very well be my first DNF of the year because I don't know if I'm enjoying it. It is so short though, so I'm like, should I just power through and just get through it? Because I am somewhat intrigued, but like, it is kind of boring, but we'll see. And the last one that I'm in the middle of is Rook and Rebel by 𝖘𝖔𝖈𝖎𝖆. This is an MC romance. It is a dark romance. I am enjoying it. I just didn't feel like picking it up after I started it. So hopefully this month I will go in and actually finish this. And then we have my book club pick for March. Again, my book club on Fable will be linked down below. And that is Everything We Never Said by Sloane Harlow. I believe this is a thriller, but the last book that I read by her, there was romance and it was like a romantic suspense kind of, but more suspense than romance. So I really don't know what to expect with this one, but I am very excited. And then we have The Hunt by Z.W. Taylor. This is book 2 in the Moonblood saga. The first one was The Bite. I read that I think in August of last year, and I had such a good time that I've been so excited to go into The Hunt. I just have not picked it up. So very, very exciting. Hopefully in March, it'll be The Hunt's time because I just need to finally get through this. There is one other book out so far, and that is The Pack. And I really want to get through both of them, but only The Hunt is on my March TBR, but we'll see how it goes. And then we have a new one that I got the other day. It is And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. I loved First Time Caller. I don't know if these are in like the same universe or like interconnected standalones. I really don't know, but they kind of look alike. And I am just so excited. I think this is two meteorologists. It's also inspired by When Harry Met Sally. And so I'm just so ready. I am just so ready. I do have a hold on Libby, so hopefully I will get that soon. And I missed one earlier. I also in the middle of Charming Your Dad by Sarah Blue. I honestly don't remember where I am in this one, so I might have to start it over regardless, but I am super excited. This is a dark romance. It is a demon and a witch, I believe, if I remember correctly. But I am so excited because I was really enjoying it, but I just never went back into it. And then we have Serpentine Valentine, or is it Serpentine Valentine? Serpentine Valentine? Or neither. I don't know. But it is that by Gianna Darling. This is a dark romance. I don't know if it's MC or mafia. I really don't know. I don't know what this is about. I just know that it was a dark romance. I saw it at Half Price Books like last year. And when I went in, I was like, I want to get more dark romance physically. I saw this. I heard about it. I picked it up. So it's on my TBR now. And then we have Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I thought this was a trilogy, but I think there's like 6 or 7 books out. But this sounds so good. It says that there's like a little bit of romance, but it's a thriller. There's an academy, and we all know how I feel about academies. I love a book with an academy. I just do. It's just so good, especially if it's dark. If it is dark academia, sign me up. I am sat. This is me. Yeah. Very, very, very excited. Hopefully I will get to this. I think I'm going to buy it on my Kindle because I love reading physical books, but sometimes I am just in so much pain that I just can't. Like right now, my muscles all right here and like down my arms are so sore from either how I slept or just my fibromyalgia wanting to kick my ass for a little bit. So reading a physical book sucks. My Kindle though, that's my girl. Last book on my March TBR is Losers Part 2. I read Part 1. That was my first book of the year, and I just really need to go into Part 2, okay? I loved it. That is my new favorite dark romance. It was so, so good, and so I need to just finish this duet. I really do. I know that I'm probably going to cry when it's over because I don't want it to be over, and I think that's why I'm putting this off, but I need to just finally do it because Losers Part 1 did something to me. It healed parts of me that I didn't know needed to be healed. So I need to go into part 2. But those were all of the books that I read in February and all of the books that I want to read in March. I am hoping for another really good reading month. I don't think I've ever read 14 books in 1 month before. Like, I truly do not think I've ever done that. But I had such a good reading month. I had so much fun. And I also knocked off 8 books from my physical TBR, which is crazy. So just realized I bought books that came in the mail today and I forgot to add any of those to my TBR. We'll figure it out as we go, okay? We'll figure it out. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. It literally means the world to me that you take time out of your days to watch my videos. Anywhere else that you can find me will be linked down below. As always, if there's anything you want to see, any questions, anything of that sort, please comment down below. I love you guys so much. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.